have the power of Dark Magician for you today. It appears that we have an X-Saber hand loop with a lot of other good stuff in Tenpai action too. Sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more. Somebody's getting ahead of the Dark Magician game here before we even have the overframes and all that other cool stuff. They actually had the chance to take this to their event and they smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button, like you guys should too. So actually doing very well here. Obviously, having the Primite package in the deck, it's going to help out a lot. Being able to call up Dark Magician and then being able to, do all the Primite interactions that you want to with that is really good. I also do appreciate we are playing the Primite Fusion in here, which is going to unlock some little hilarious doors with things that you'd be able to not normally access with a deck like this. Obviously, maximizing on Lordly Loads. Only playing one Drill Beam. Drill Beam has lost a little bit of its luster. I mean, the card is extremely good, but, we've kind of taken a little bit of a backseat from, this card being absolutely bonkers amazing. I do see in the side deck, we are side decking Impulses, which I think is fine. We do have the Eternal Soul in the side deck. We're not quite at the point of being able to abuse Eternal Soul just yet. We kind of got to take our adjustments and understand that, when we get the better end of the support, then we'll be able to functionally take advantage of this a little bit more. Because we've also got the Magician's Salvation in here as well to get the Eternal Soul up and running. And we're also citing the Chaos Max as well. All of which are all amazingly great ignorant cards and everything that you kind of want to be seeing in a deck like this actually getting the job done. So, I mean, overall, I think this list is pretty solid. The use of the Shining Sarcophagus package in the deck is actually very, very good. Just giving you that extra little chugga of spellcaster good stuff is exactly what the doctor called for this. Next up here, we have X-Saber Hand Loop Magnet Warriors Mitsurugi the deck. Now, I hope that you took that all in and you processed what in the world this deck is doing, because this is taking all of the, there's a couple degenerate packages in here. It's taking all of the best pieces of the meta and it's striking the iron on these engines, trying to make it a little bit more fair, consistent, the chance to work out. A lot of this has got to do with, Cherubini just being a broken card for you to access. So obviously one of the first things you're going to be able to do with this deck is you're going to be able to hand loop away your opponent's life savings, right? Any deck that can just build in the free hand loop going first, it's going to be good. If not, it's going to absorb a couple hand traps. But then the next thing you got to ask yourself is, okay, once we've got this established, where can we go from here? And that's where I think the haha funny stuff starts to turn in, because, we can spin our eyes in the Mitsurugi package. We can spin into the Magnet Warriors. We have multiple pivot lines to go into. So I do appreciate access to all of these different packages. Also, Tenki just being another starter for this deck is good. Down here in the side deck, we have the Futsu on call if we need. This is just, you're bringing in more consistency pieces post side decking to try to make the deck a little bit more down to earth. And I think that's just fine. So, takeaways. This is an absolute pile of dumpster garbage. And I love every moment of it. I love that the masterminds are cooking crazy ass shit like this. Because this is just the level of innovation. And you're just like, who comes up with this? And why does this actually work out? Next up here, we have Tenpai Dragons. Now, there have been a lot of cool ways to try to make the Tenpai deck a little bit more broken over time here. And I gotta give it to players. They're really pushing the boundaries here. This particular list is actually taking advantage of the Dark Magician Girl stuff. So, once again, we've seen time and time again where D-Mod gets to turn into, Mr. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon Man himself here. And his job is to kind of put up that little extra defensive line against the opponent. Once you have that boundary kind of established, then, you're just kind of cruise controlling to victory, which also means, we get to play Wanteds to make some recyclability. Also gives us access into an additional Omni Negate. So we go second with Tenpai, make big field after going through Demon, because your opponent's going to see the Shining Sarcophagus stuff, and they're going to be like, okay, so we kind of have to pivot and stop this, because, the minute a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon comes down, they're going to have a lot of other problems. If not, you pivot into the Diabell Star, and then you kind of go from there. As long as you have a single Tenpai monster in your hand, or, the ability to find one, you're golden. You're going to be on such a crazy setup. Your opponent's just going to look at you and they're just going to be like, what is this garbage? Like, how did I lose to this? So, multi-engines are the name of the game right now, if you've not noticed. If your deck can play Omni Negate Generation, then a lot of players are going to be trying to find the craziest next best thing that they can to kind of slap it together and be able to make that work out. And this is just none other than the surprise after surprise that we do tend to see with this. So, good job. I love it. Next up here, we have RB. I have seen a lot of different RB decks actually being thrown around right now. Like, there really is a surprise handful of duelists that have just made this deck their job. They've wanted to crack it, make it work. Cyanos into Rose is 2 machine bodies on the field. You can technically pivot into, whichever little extra sub package that you might need along the way, which is really, really good for this. Also, Hornet Drones and Engage, the classic, Hornet Drones turn into a machine monster, and guess what? We're kind of off to the races. That's your job, right? You're here to make 2 machine monsters to ensure that we can at least get the Vulcan booster online. And then the Vulcan booster is going to kind of just take care of everything else that the deck wants to have. Fundamentally, I didn't think RB would be a meta challenger right now. There's no reason to look at this deck and go, oh, yes, this is, where we're going. But actually, very, very strongly enough, RB is really good at cracking up these fields, and it's just really good at having the arsenal of options to actually deal with problems while generating advantage, actually having a decent board set up through next phase, and so forth, and even like the Terratop Takumtumborg interactions here. And they're even doing the Tether Wolf as well to be another little piece for you to kind of set up. Once again, utility options are the name of the game right now. If your deck can generate, good tools to handle issues, we could also, Fallen and Virtuous is a very ignorant card, as we have seen time and time again. You're effectively able to just do some of the dumbest, shit that a deck like this wants to do. So, hey, test out RB. Honestly, this deck seems like it has been doing very, very well, and I look forward to continuing to see it do very, very well. And our last list here is Striker Runick. Finally, somebody's doing some really dumb things with Striker. I do see they're only playing 1 fountain in the deck, and I don't hate this, honestly. Access to 1 fountain just means that, you're going to have to play your resources a little bit more securely. You got a couple of cards that might detour your strategy, like I see we're playing Evenly Matched and Linkage. Don't worry. All right. If your opponent sets up a big field and you just evenly away their life savings, you kind of just win the game off of the Evenly Matched. Everything else that Striker is just going to generate off of this is just going to put your opponent even more on life tilt. That's kind of the point as to why you choose to play, a deck like this. Also, you have all the hand traps and everything side deck down here anyway. I do like the 2 Ray, 1 Rose. You don't have a reason to branch out and to play more. You're not playing Desires in this deck. So, you've got everything going the way that it needs to. It's just like, you kind of got to keep in mind for option's sake that you gotta maintain resources and kind of do your thing. I say that, but you're playing some of the most ignorant Yu-Gi-Oh cards, that have made way into the TCG. So a lot of interesting lists today. I like that we're seeing like crazy ideas coming together, and it just proves that there's, you know, a lot of building that we can kind of come together here and actually explore within the format, and that's what we want to see. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.